We just saw Strange Magic, and on this show I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're on the fence or looking for a recommendation, you can watch that part and find out whether we recommend this movie for you. And if you've already seen the movie, or you hear what we say about the review and don't care to see it, but just want to know everything we thought, stick around for the discussion, because we'll get into more detail and possibly spoilers. So, here goes the review. I did not have high hopes for this movie. A trailer that starts out with "From the Mind of George Lucas" is kind of a death sentence at this point. So I was really kind of worried about where this would go. But it's his story. It's another director. It's the animation studio that did the Clone Wars. And it's really good, actually. It's not great. It's not like run out and see it great, but it's much better than I expected it to be. The animation is really, really solid. It's beautiful to look at. The story is all right. It's basically an adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream, with some potions and some fairies, and it has a little bit of variation from that, but not too terribly much. You can still see this underlying, bones of that story in there. The performances are fine. The vocalists, because it is a musical and it uses well-known songs. It doesn't use original songs. It's, I Can't Help Falling in Love with You and things like that. Minor hits for the most part. They get into Wild Thing for a little bit. And it's
Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Yeah, it's a lot of 60s and 70s for the most part. Which is kind of a strange choice, I guess it works for family movies, but it's kind of a strange choice for
a kids movie.
But it works, and I didn't particularly like the songs. I didn't think that they did much for the story. I think they were probably just kind of a shortcut to get fairly good songs into the movie instead of having to come up with their own and write their own. The actors in the movie and the singers are good singers. They're mostly people that, the people in the big lead roles are people and they just don't seem to give them, I don't know if it's a directing thing or what, but they never have a shining moment where they do something really spectacular that knocks you over. By the time the movie was over, I was tired of the story. It really it fizzled out about 15 minutes or so before the end of the movie. It's just kind of this long, extended song or medley of songs as you wait for the inevitable to happen. And the inevitable happens in this strange, kaleidoscope trippy thing, and then it just goes to the credits. So it ends in this really weird spot, but I would imagine that kids watching it would be done with the movie by that point and ready to just get up and walk out, because I was done with the movie at that point and ready to get up and leave. So it's not the most satisfying conclusion ever, but for what it is, it works. I have definitely seen way, way worse children's movies, and as a family movie is something that, as an adult, if you were to take your kids to it, it's not gonna hurt you to watch it. It's not gonna be a painful experience to watch it. I personally hate I usually hate pop music in shows like this, or people singing that really shouldn't be singing and that kind of stuff. But this doesn't have that. It didn't bother me for that part of it. So it's strange is a good word for it, because it is very strange. It's an odd movie, but there's some other movies that I would have told you were probably better from last year that it's actually probably about as good as, or maybe even a little bit better. So, having said all of that, I would say it's probably, if you've got kids and you want something that you can just kind of turn your brain off and enjoy the pretty visuals and a couple of silly jokes here and there, it's not a bad movie to see. What'd you think?
I really enjoyed it. I thought that with the song choices, it was kind of skewed more towards an older audience. Because outside of Stronger by Kelly Clarkson, I can't really think of a newer song in there.
Yeah, it's all like 60s and 70s for the most part.
But then again, the songs are the weak point of the movie because they're used as we couldn't think of any good dialogue, so here's a song instead that covers the story because somebody clearly wrote it better. The visuals were great. The animation was really top notch. The movie was fun. They had in the main parts, some fairly big names. Evan Rachel Wood, Alan Cumming, Kristen Chenoweth. But they're so underutilized. Outside of a couple songs here and there, they don't really get a moment to shine, like you said. It was like an animated episode of Glee.
Oh, yeah.
But, with you using Shakespeare, I got more of a Much Ado About Nothing feel from it. Especially towards the end.
Oh, is that the one I'm thinking of? It might be that one. It's one of those.
Yeah. But it was...
It's literally based on one of those.
Yeah,
so.
It was enjoyable. I would... unless you are really looking for something right now to take your kids to see in theaters, I wouldn't recommend it in theaters. So...
Yeah, I would much rather watch it at home, and it just didn't hold my attention all the way through, I guess is the way of saying it. But
it definitely loses steam towards the end because at the end you're kind of like, who didn't see this coming?
Right. Yeah, you can tell in the first 15 minutes how it's going to end, and then they just drag it out. So, Anyway, that's the review. If that sounds like a movie you want to see, don't let us spoil it for you. Go check it out, and this is the point where you can turn it off. Come back and check us out when you're done watching it. So, now we're talking about spoilers.
Not much you could really spoil about this.
There's not. There's just some weird, kind of asides. There's the thing that looks like a cross between Stitch and a possum that shows up every once in a while. There's a lot of characters in the movie, and they kind of come and go sporadically. It seems like, I don't know, it seems like there could be 2 or 3 fewer characters to follow.
A lot of them, I was shocked at how many you actually hear the names of this character.
Yeah.
And they're not used. Normally, background characters are background characters. You don't get a name. They're guard 1, guard 2, guard 3.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the kaleidoscope thing. It just came out of nowhere. It was like...
It was like they couldn't think of something visually appealing or interesting enough to end the movie with, so they just went as bananas as they could with the end.
I guess, because it did not make sense, and...
It just, flashed all the main characters in the kaleidoscope.
It was kind of weird and off-putting. Especially with the song that they chose.
What were they onto by that point?
That was Wild Thing.
They were still on Wild Thing, okay.
Yeah. Had they chose a different song, even People Are Strange, or Strange Magic, that would have been good.
Yeah.
But they already did that earlier in the movie, so.
There's also a weird point where during one of the chases, Marianne was chasing this thing around. I think it was when she was chasing the lizard, and it was playing Barracuda. It was playing the guitar riff in Barracuda, but she didn't sing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder how they got so many people to sign off on it. Because it just doesn't seem like something some of those artists would sign off on.
I'm sure it was just... I'm sure it's just money. I'm sure it's just what they had access to. It's like the whole Disney connection and all the stuff that they have, But yeah, all of this, the song choices feel like they were someone's book. You know what I mean? It's like they went to a licensing place and they were like, what hit songs from the 60s and 70s do you have? All right, let's work those into the script.
George Lucas had to have made those choices because they were older. They were older. It had to be somebody that was older that made those choices.
Yeah, I mean, but Wild Thing is not an expensive song to license.
True.
By a one-hit wonder from the 60s.
True. Somebody needs help. Somebody needs help.
And none of the like, it wasn't like they had, it wasn't like Across the Universe where it's all Beatles songs or something really well-known and popular and all of that. It's just not engaging. Like, half an hour from now, I won't be able to remember the names of the songs that were in this movie.
But they did have some big songs. They had Kelly Clarkson's Stronger. They had Queen's Crazy Little Thing Called Love. That was the one that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I was like, how'd they afford Queen?
I don't know the Kelly Clarkson songs, but yeah. Just some weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
And
I think the song choices kind of made the movie feel like an anachronism.
Definitely.
Like a movie that probably should have come out 10 years ago.
Well, they were playing by like the Shrek playbook, where you have Smash Mouth sing an old monkey song or something, and
hopefully it
get everybody with in one spot. But nothing's that strong. Nothing's as strong as that. It's like, Madagascar using I Like to Move It. Like, all the weird children's music choices that they throw into these things.
Terrible song.
But at least it wasn't any of those. So, it had that going for it. They didn't try and rework the Humpty Dance into a kid's movie, which is the kind of thing that DreamWorks would totally try to do.
That would be amazing.
They would definitely try that.
I would watch that twice.
So, anyway, that's Strange Magic. It's freaking weird. Check it out if you are interested. One other thing that I did want to mention that I thought, right out of the gate as we were watching it, when the music and everything started, was if this had been a foreign language movie and everything was, in French or Japanese or something that I don't know, and it was subtitled, I think I would have liked the movie more.
Really?
Honestly, I do. I honestly think I would have liked the movie more because I would have been more engaged in the visuals and not paying attention to how out of place the music was.
Okay, I can see that.
That's just my thought. Anyway, Strange Magic, if you like the way we do the reviews, please like the video, subscribe. Check out our Patreon page if you want to support us and find some extra content. And as always, you can find all the written reviews and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.